Hello everyone and welcome to another ESV TV Player Spotlight. This one is of course of SlayerS.CranK, an amazing up-and-coming Protoss player. Let's take a look. Here he is, of course, another Korean. He's from Team SlayerS, as I was saying. He was as well. I think he was also one of the players. Was he on Zenix? No, actually. I think so many players from Zenix ended up moving to Crank. No, the player I'm thinking of is Puzzle. Puzzle was on Zenix and then he moved over to SlayerS. But no, Crank is an up-and-comer on native to SlayerS, I believe. I can't think of any teams that he was on before that. I'm pretty sure I just remember hearing about him as he was on SlayerS. And he's one of the Protosses. We're doing a spotlight on him because he's one of the Protosses that's up-and-coming that needs more attention. This guy is probably, I hesitate to say something along the lines of like top 10 Protoss in the world or something, but I feel like that's a safe bet. And he's just one of those Protosses that not enough people know about, but he's actually so sick good, and he just really needs more exposure. So, gonna do some spotlights of some replays of his. These were actually handpicked by him from latter sessions, so should be some good games. Hopefully, hopefully he didn't like pick some weirdo, wacky games or something. I don't know. Could be fun. But let's jump in. It's gonna be our first game with him, and it's gonna be a PvZ here on Cloud Kingdom. Let's get it started. Now, PvZ is a matchup I've seen the least of Cranks. I really like his PvT style. I think he's got a lot of smart stuff going on, and his PvP is so solid. He not only has great one-base builds, but he also has great expansion builds. But his PvZ I really haven't seen all that much of, so I'm excited to see what his style is going to look like nowadays, since these are very recent replays. He is going to be our barcode Protoss, as I explained in one of the Taja games, if you saw that as one of the spotlights. The reason Korean players sometimes make their name a series of L's, lowercase L's, and capital I's, is that they don't want people to be able to steal their builds. So when you play against them on the ladder, you see a barcode, and you're like, oh, okay, I don't know who this is. That way, like if you saw SlayerS.CranK, you might like upload that replay, put it on the internet somewhere. People are gonna find it. They're gonna copy your builds, or they're gonna see weaknesses in your builds and exploit them in tournaments against you. So that's why he does that. He's playing on his Korean Grandmaster account. And it is going to be a forward expansion here from him. A little bit of an odd pylon placement. Usually we see it just a little bit more to the northwest so that it can cover this entire area. But perhaps we'll do that with another pylon. A lot of players will, forge, gateway, and then pylon. And he scouts after pylon as well. A lot of players are starting to scout later and later in PvZ. But if you're going for the forge expand, generally it's a great idea to scout immediately after that pylon so you can deny any possibility of a hatchery first. You basically just can't hatchery first if a player scouts after pylon and they micro their probe properly and can block it. So we're going to see a pull first. By the way, the name here is Megumi X-Bear, but people that know her, I can almost guarantee you this is not her. This is either somebody else playing on her account or just somebody else using that name on Korean Grandmaster. I know she's good. I'm pretty sure she's NA Master, but there's quite a skill differential between NA Master and Korean Grandmaster. Like, Korean Gold level or Korean Platinum level is kind of at the level that low NA Master is at. So Korean Grandmaster is just way above and beyond. So I don't believe this is her. I'm almost certain it's some other Zerg. Interesting forge placement. So it'll be forge, gateway below, and then pylon most likely. I like the pylon block. Will he do another pylon block here at the third? Some Protosses like to do this. Oh, the hatchery's going to get down now. There's a really sneaky place you can do a cannon rush here that a lot of Protosses have been experimenting with, but most Zergs know about it nowadays and send an Overlord over there to check anyways. So it doesn't look like he's going to go for that type of cannon rush. Instead, just drops his Nexus. Very safe, though, with the forge first. You can usually get away with Nexus first against that pull timing anyways. But he wants to be super safe. Maybe it opens up the opportunity to cannon rush if he wants. Also just means he won't, die to any early shenanigans with like a hatchery block or something. Proxy hatch can be a little bit annoying to deal with sometimes. 4 lings out, so just the standard here for our Zerg. Just gonna take out that pylon and go 3 hatch no gas. I mean, this is the bread and butter of ZVP nowadays. You're pretty much always gonna go 3 hatch no gas. Some Zergs won't. They'll go for some type of like 2-base builds or maybe a 2-base all in. Or just like 2-base Infestor, 2-base Muta, something like that. But 3 hatch no gas is kind of the way of the future. Players like Stefano have really kind of ironed out how to make the build work. He certainly wasn't the first. Players like oh my god, Spanishiwa. He was some of the first players to go 3 hatch no gas and just stay on no gas for a really long time. Players like Revival had been doing that for a really long time, but they didn't quite have ironed out the way Stefano does how to defend against every all-in and still be economically ahead. And That's just what's so amazing, and every Zerg is starting to copy him. So really just seeing this strategy happen pretty much every ZVP we see nowadays. And the Protoss has a choice. Are they going to try to go for a 2-base all-in to bust the third, or at least a 2-base committed attack, maybe not an all-in, but like a +1 Zealot, +1 4-gate Zealot? Or are they going to try to take a quick third of their own and play a standard actual macro game? Which can be very hard. You need excellent force fields. Pro's going to try to get some scouting. He wants to double check that a hatchery went down. A lot of Zergs will take this space to make you think that, oh, okay, you took the pylon block and took the space, but I'm actually just going to go early roaches or early speedlings and go kill you. So you want to scout, make sure they actually did take a hatchery and didn't cancel it, and you want to check for the gases. See how many gases your opponent has, what timing they're going to be coming out with roach timings, etc. How many drones do they have? If you see all these drones, you're going to know it's probably not going to be like some early Zergling aggression or anything like that. He's going to try to go over to the third. He's going to see no gas here. Will he get to scout the second gas? Not quite. He didn't get in range, but should realize that there's probably no gas there at this point in time if that third hatchery finished. And we are seeing +1, and Warp Gate's being Chronos. So it looks like it'll be a +1 4-gate with Zealots. Could add a Stargate and go Void Ray as well. Oh, Twilight Council. Maybe it'll be well, that's actually bizarre to have that this early. You know, often you'll go +2 Blink later on. But it just seems a little bit earlier for that. Maybe he'll do some DT shenanigans. Maybe we'll just go early Blink. Maybe we'll even see Charged Archon. Who knows? He's going very fast quad gas. So it's certainly not just going to be 4-gate +1 Zealot. That would have way too much gas for that, not enough minerals. So I'm curious. There's a lot of different ways Crank can go with this. Oh, it is going to be +1 4-gate. We'll see if he actually... Maybe he'll start out some aggression with Zealots and then go into a +2 Blink Stalker after that. The Roach one's already on the way here for a Zerg. Double gas is done. It's just staying on 3 gas total, actually. So the lair is... Yeah, it is. The lair has been started. So with 3 gas... With 2 gas, you just go Roach Sling. But with 3 gas, you're going to get that lair. Go ahead and play a little bit more safe. I'm surprised there's no Evo Chamber, actually. That's actually shocking. You don't have an Evo Chamber right now. At the very least, so you could get some spores up in case there's like Void Rays or DTs. Perhaps going to rely on lair tech for that instead. 2 Zealots moving out towards that third, and a forward pylon's been set up, and it hasn't been scouted by the Zerg. It's one of the most important things to do on this map. Check this bottom location, prevent any forward pylons from going up, because +1 4-gate Zealot can be pretty darn scary. There's +2 started immediately thanks to that Twilight Council and Blink, but look at that. The Overlord not only scouts the gateways, it sees the Twilight Council, and if you're very, very aware, you can see that the lights are actually moving faster on the Twilight than they are if they're not upgrading. Sometimes people make references, oh, you should chrono it to fake that you're getting Blink. No, that's BS. Only garbage only garbage players are gonna fall for that. Any good player is gonna know it actually moves faster on the lights if you have something upgrading. So even though there's no chrono on it, our Zerg should realize that a +2 Blink follow-up is gonna be what's coming out, and that's just the standard nowadays. People do +2 Blink on 2-base all the time now. I'm surprised he hasn't gone for the aggression with these Zealots yet. He has a lot of +1 Zealots, but he's just trying to delay and defend his pylons until he has that ready. 3 more gates going up, so it's gonna be 6-gate. Usually we see 7-gate. Oh, excuse me. Wait. Yeah. No, that's 7-gate. What am I saying? I can't count. 7 gates total coming up. Yeah, 7 gates the usual that we see. 4 +2 Blink. So this is just kind of standard 2-base play from Crank. Oh no, he's getting Stalker surrounded though. You need the Zealots dealing with the Lings. The Stalkers dealing with the Roaches can be very difficult to do. He takes out all the Lings though. These Roaches got to be careful. They do take out all the Zealots though, and now the Stalkers have to kite backwards. They're going to take way too much damage from these Roaches. Speed is about halfway done, and so is Burrow. Burrow is the best thing you can do against this type of play. There's not going to be an Observer, so you can really shut this down. But Blink's already done, so some excellent micro here from Crank, just keeping these Stalkers being extremely cost efficient, but he is starting to lose them. He is starting to take some hull damage as the Roaches go down. No spines up here, so just Roach Ling to defend against this play. That is a lot of Lings, an excellent way to deal with high counts of Blink Stalkers if you just get surrounds. Of course, they are being blinked away. Excellent micro so far by Crank. Zerg player has quite a few advantage right now. Let's get our worker count. 47 drones to 56 drones. So maybe just a little bit greedy with that many drones, but we'll see if he's able to defend or not. This many Blink Stalkers is going to get scary. The more that warp in, you kind of reach a critical mass with Blink Stalkers. He's got to be careful with all these speedlings coming in, and Roaches. This is a little bit hard to deal with. Burrow's about to complete as well. It's going to make this so much harder for Crank to move forward onto. And he doesn't have a 3rd base behind this. This is, I hesitate to say all in, but it's very infested. A nice micro so far. Not the best, not the cleanest, but he's keeping those Stalkers alive. That's what's important. Nice micro by the Zerg, though, continuing to move forward and target fire the low Stalkers, even after they blink back. You're starting to lose a lot of Roaches doing that, though. His Roach count is getting extremely low. More and more Roaches and Lings on the way. Really needs, unfortunately, supply blocked right now. Needs more Overlords, needs more Larva as well. He is really, really low on Larva since Oh, I want to check his energy on his queens, but there's the burrow. Now it's going to be a little bit harder, but still not that hard. Crank, you know, I mean, he's going to get unburrowed on top of, but it doesn't stop the aggression necessarily. I like that he's target firing down that spine crawler. You don't want to let a spine finish against you when you go on Blink Stalker. It can be really, really annoying. It does a lot of damage to armored units. But he's starting to just get up that critical mass of Blink Stalkers, and look at that. The Zerg has decided, oh god, he's got too many Stalkers. I got to fall back. Didn't quite get the defenses he needed. That supply block really killed him, and as you can see, he has quite a bit of energy on his queens, so he was really low on larva. If he had had just maybe a little bit better larva injections, maybe just a little bit better overlord production, he might have been able to hold. Or he could have produced just a couple fewer drones, since he had a lot of extra minerals that could have fewer drones, just more units with that food. So, I mean, you can really see how precarious the matchup is right now. It's just some slight mistakes from the Zerg player, and the Protoss was able to just really punish it. Nice play by Crank, being like, oh, okay, you're gonna mess up. I'm gonna take advantage of that. I'm gonna keep up constant aggression, constant attacks, never let up. Because if you let up, that's when the Zerg macros perfectly. But if you keep up that constant pressure, Zerg's going to miss some of those larva injections, unless they're like Nest T or something. Looks like we're going to see a counterattack, though, from a Zerg. He thought there would be a third up, but there's actually not. There is going to be one put up right in front of all these roaches and lings. Of course, Crank doesn't know that yet. He's still trying to deal with these 3 roaches. His Robo is just now completing. This is going to have to be canceled immediately. Nice, he gets the cancel. That was quick reaction times. It's hard to get in time there. Blink forward on these roaches. He's going to finally take them out, so he doesn't have to worry about his pylons being taken out. And he knows roaches and lings are out of position on the map, so he's just going to go for an attack, which could be a great move, but he needs an observer. If he can get an observer, he can just blink right past all of these, all of those spines into the main base. He does have 2 sentries back at home to defend. I like that move, so he can help defend against any counterattack play, but it might not be enough. Oh no, the Forge getting target fire with that +3, that is so crucial. Every attack upgrade makes an unbelievable difference for Blink Stalkers in PvZ. For example, +2 attack changes it from being, I think it's like from 11 shots on a roach to 9, something like that, and from 3 shots on a Zergling to 2. It's just such a big deal. We do see Tumbling Claws on the way, so that those force fields can be circumvented by our Zerg. But of course, once an Observer's out, which it is now, that's going to make it a lot harder to be effective there. We do have an Immortal out as well. Overlord trying to get some scouting. Not really going to see too much other than what he should be expecting to see. Just the 7 gateways and no additional tech. Third finally being taken here from Crank. Now that he knows he took out the Zerg third, he's totally comfortable. There's no reason as a Protoss you should feel uncomfortable. You know, a lot of players play this game a little bit too much by timings. Like, what the hell? A 15-minute third? That's so late. Well, he took out the Zerg third, and the Zerg third is coming out at this time as well. So if you play this game dynamically in reaction to what your opponent has been doing and what's been happening all game long, this actually makes perfect sense from Crank. And he shouldn't feel at all uncomfortable taking such a late third because the Zerg's third is that much later as well. You see Spire Tech and Infestor Tech on the way, so perhaps our Zerg friend over here is just a little bit paranoid about the possibility of any type of tech switch. He wants to get Infestors up, but also wants to Spire in case he needs Corruptors for Colossi, something like that. I seriously doubt he would go Infestor Tech and then go for a Muta transition, but you never know. It just seems like such a gas investment. We'll probably just see the Hive come up pretty quickly and, you know, a quick up tech to Broodlords, but I mean, he's been denied 6 gas so long, he's just now getting back up to 6 gas, so, or just getting up to 6 gas for the first time, so I seriously doubt he could rush that out that quickly. He needs to start getting some Infestors first before he can start going into Broodlords effectively. When your opponent has this many Blink Stalkers, and he's just waiting for that Spire to complete. I don't know really what he's doing right now. Not Larva injecting either. Oh, actually some of them are. But Infestation Pit did, yeah, it finished. There it is. No upgrades, no Hive Tech. He doesn't even have a single Evo Chamber still. So, that is brutal. Maybe he is going to go Muta then. That would make sense to go Muta because he doesn't have any ground upgrades. I mean, think about that for a second. All these Roaches and Lings are 0-0 and will be like forever. Yeah, it's Muta and he's getting +1 air. Whereas Crank already has +3 started here. Would have been done already if it hadn't been sniped. He's going up to Colossus Tech since he knows he's going to need that splash damage against ground, but unfortunately doesn't realize perhaps that a Muta transition is on the way. Doesn't have an observer over there, just kind of leaving it with his main army in the event of Burrow shenanigans. Fourth is on the way from the Zerg, but I'm surprised he's going Muta. I mean, with Blink Stalkers already out, it's a matter of kind of hoping the Protoss player doesn't play well. Because on a map like this where the main is so well defended from the third and natural, if you place cannons well, you don't even need defense in your main. You can just defend the natural and third with Blink Stalkers and cannons. And Mutas basically won't do anything. So they'll probably do some damage right now since the Stalkers are a little bit out of position. No, he sees them coming with that observer. So nice, he gets his Blinkstalkers in position. Mutas do no damage.